Hello, my name is Paraschiva-Rodica Rusu and I am PhD student at the Ștefan Mare University of Suceava. I will present you the paperwork named Philosophical Debates Among Childhood. Starting from the different ideas of the great philosophers regarding the optimal age to make philosophy, this article aims to expose the essential arguments that justify the importance of philosophical debates among children, as well the purpose of philosophy in childhood. In addition, attempts are made to provide answers to the questions: what prevails in childhood, good or bad? It is thus found that although bad is present during childhood, it can also have beneficial effects in the further development of the child. When we think about childhood, the period from childhood to adolescence comes to our mind. All the stages of this period pose problems, but in a sense, the entire period of time from the birth of the child to adolescence is a period of preparation. Most of the times, this construct of childhood has nothing to do with the real life to children, being an imaginative idealization of adults rather than an observation of the experience lived by children. How does philosophy relate to childhood? In the past, philosophy was rather preoccupied with problematic concepts such as space, time, causality, God, desire, or pleasure, but in our days, the concept of a child becomes problematic from a philosophical point of view. Lately, there have been more and more concern about children's rights from a philosophical perspective. This concerns to beyond the theoretical aspects, emphasizing the importance of implementing proposals to reconstruct philosophy in such a way that it can be practiced by children. In the vision of philosopher, children stay together, seated in a circle, and look for answers to questions about death, origins, about the world, God, friendship, love, questions, then train their mind and philosophical thinking. It is obvious that such activities are not a defining characteristic of childhood. Only some children participate in discussions of this kind and in different contexts. Two essential arguments that justify the importance of philosophical debates among children can be mentioned. Arguments. The philosophical thinking of young children exists, and this fact must be harnessed. Children must be respected and seen as partners in adults' attempts to understand and explain everything. On the other hand, philosophical ideas issued by children's minds can help adults better understand philosophy. Adults are often pressured by the burdens of caring for the training their children that they forget to value what children in turn have to offer adults. Of this extraordinary thing that children have to offer the world is a new philosophical vision. The ideas issued by a child's mind can be real treasured for the adult who has ears to listen to them. Special attention should be paid to the ideas and beliefs emitted by children because they see the world without the filters imposed by adult and adult life. Garrett Matthew argues that young children naturally engage in a type of thinking that is truly philosophical and that they have the ability to engage in mental games that lead them to address many to the classical problems of chronology, of value and existence issues that need to be taken seriously by anyone who wants to understand how children think. Children sometimes ask nagging questions to adults who make it difficult for them to find the answer. For this reason, for the most part, philosophy is a mature attempt to cope with the unpredictable and truly bewildering question of childhood. The construction of childhood as a primitive stage indirectly indicates the need to control and subdue children for the supposed moral purpose of helping them on their way to civilization. The image given about childhood defines that children are and how they must be in order to fit into the wider society to be considered a child, namely, he must be naive, know nothing about life and the world. He must be totally inexperienced, addicted, and controllable. John Dewey and John Locke have a different perspective on children's intellect. The first strongly believed that we should treat children as rational creatures. Dewey writes, not only that children are rational, but also that in certain situations, children can be models of intellectuality and morality for adults. Romanian education policy should respect children's ability to solve problems as well as their intellectual initiative in the classroom. Students should often be allowed to generate topics for study and classroom discussion, and teachers should set other teaching standards that give them freedom of expression, just a philosophy that's for children. What prevails in childhood, good or bad? Anca Gheauș believes that the childhood period is intrinsically good. Thus, speaking of the intrinsic good of childhood, it refers to those goods that have an importance and direct contribution to a good childhood and that are intrinsically important for the well-being of life. Childhood play is an intrinsic good of human life, but also childhood. But certain activities such as sexual relations do not belong to the period of childhood, but to adult life, being an intrinsic good of human life, but not of childhood. Unlike Anca Gheauș, Sarah Hanna defends a difficult vision of childhood, considering childhood to be generally bad for children. She argued that 4 features of childhood make it regrettable: the ability affected by practical reasoning, the lack of an established practical identity, the need to be dominated, and deep and asymmetric vulnerability. Although these traits are essential for childhood, they are bad enough to overcome any childhood good that we can reasonably put on the other side of the ladder. Sarah suggests that in general, childhood is bad for children. Conclusion: this aspect and bad trait of childhood can actually be intrinsic good of childhood. They can bring a plus to this stage in which the infant, the child, can develop cognitively, intellectually, and social emotionally. Good covers a greater weight than bad in childhood without denying that there are exceptional situations in which children are abused or neglected and their subsequent emotional development is affected. Thank you for attention.